Triple kill. Double kill.
I was in the firing line, living in my head. Something that'll close the blinds, the feeling in the air. This is just a waste of time. No one really cares. But then you came across my mind, got me out of there. So I went down to the river and swam till the panic was over. Yes, I went down to the river, watched all the heavy waves. I watched all the heavy
Enemy team took the hill.
feeling all the noise in here. It's becoming a pull me into common dear and take me out to the waves. 'Cause I feel like a waste of space, breathing in the air. But you hold me like I might just break, like you want me there. So I went down to the river and swam till the panic was over.
Double kill.
Yes, I went down to the river, watched all the heavy waves. Watched all the heavy waves.
Double kill. Double kill. Double kill.
So far away from it all, can't feel my face anymore. Want someone to numb all the pain, 'cause I can't take it away. So far away from it all, can't say I've been here before. So empty, I hate it. I'm sick of not feeling nothing. So where do we go when we feel so alone and we can't do a thing about it? About it. I'm not thinking it, I can't pretend. In my head I'm running circles again. I'm thinking it, I can't pretend. I've been spending too much time on the edge. Yeah. You can see it in my face, love. You saw the mystery once again. Oh no, I know we had this conversation a year ago, so don't you know? I've been sitting at home watching the paint dry. Kinda wishing you'd come over and say hi, save my life. Yeah. I'm just hoping that you try. So where do we go when we feel so alone and we can't do a thing about it? About it. I'm not faking it, I can't pretend.
Double kill.
Spending so much time on the edge. Tired of staying up past midnight, scrolling through your good times. If only I had mine. Lazy, watching too much TV, wishing someone missed me. Tired of staying up past midnight, scrolling through your good times. If only I had mine. Lazy, watching so much TV, wishing someone missed me. I'm faking it, I can't pretend.
Double kill.
In my head, I'm running circles again. I'm faking it, I can't pretend.
Snipe.
I'm spending so much time on the edge.
Double kill.
Done faking it, I can't pretend.
Triple kill. Overkill. Killing spree.
Keep me closer.
Double kill.
Don't need closure. 'Cause I don't want it to end. Meet me in the back of the room, back of the party. Meet me in the back of the room, back of the party. Keep me closer. Don't need
Double kill. Double kill. Killing spree. Double kill.
Meet me in the back of the room, back of the party. Meet me in the back of the room, back of the party. Keep me closer. Don't need clothes.
Double kill. Double kill. Perfect. Perfect. Reversal. Killing spree. Double kill. Snipe.
the smoke in my lungs. You got me feeling so numb.
Double
Oh,
kill.
all I felt was you. I was out of my mind. You were killing me inside. Yeah, I know the truth. I'm all scared. I think of you. I'm losing sleep. I don't know what it is you do. The moment that you walked into my life, I started to fall head to toe for you. No, I just can't get over all the games we played. I lose myself in your abuse. You split my heart in two.
Nice.
You
Nice.
split my heart in two.
Nice. Killing spree.
You split my heart in two. You I cannot replace. Memories cannot erase. No, I don't know how to. What we started for fun got me feeling so numb. I feel just like a fool. I know it's that I think of you. I'm losing sleep. I don't know what it is you do. The moment that you walked into my life, I started to fall head to toe for you. No, I just can't get over all the games we played. I lost myself in your abuse. You split my heart in two. You split my heart in two. You split my heart in two.
Double kill. Triple kill.
Sounds
Double
are in
kill.
my skin,
Killing
pull me
spree.
closer, right in. I think about all of it.
Double kill.
Walking the city to sunset, we sit, talk about everything. No, I can't sleep without you by my side. You are the best part of me, and I can't
somebody take you out and show you what you are. Friday night you staying in, ways of fun and missing friends. Worked all day and cry all night. I think you need somewhere to send. Shy in public but a threat. All these girls are staring, checking you. At first sight I lost my breath, 'cause I've never seen someone like you.
I've been waiting for somebody just like you, seeing all the
took a little longer this time to finally open the blinds. Every time I look at the sky, reminds me it's 2,000 miles between us and this eyes. The distances are worse than I thought. Is this what I want? Ooh, everything's changed without you. Even breathing feels different now that I'm on a plane heading back to LA. Ooh, everything's changed without it. Everything's changed without it. Everything's changed without it. Everything's changed without you. Thought that when I left I'd be fine.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our Spring Open number 2 at EHL. My name is Tudors, and I'm joined by Seal. It is a pleasure to have you here, mate, and I think this is actually the first time that we get to share the mic together, and I'm really excited for tonight. It's going to be a brief, short stream, 2 best of 5 technically lined up. How are you feeling, man?
I'm feeling pretty good, and yeah, like you say, I don't think we've ever casted together before, but definitely an interesting night going on. We had a game lined up, and that game did not end up going ahead. But as you can see, this one very much is going ahead. We've got Space Cadets versus Furry Gang. Let's see how it kicks off. We're off the opening here, and Gabs is currently pinned down on A plat.
Yeah. QT is online. B about to be converted as well. Furry Gang is going to lock that one in, so B and C under their control, but Gabs immediately going to be contesting this yet again. C is also looking to turn and flip red for the time being, so Space Cadets, they've obviously got things relatively under lock, starting things off on the right foot. Furry Gang looking to contest as well. They do successfully flip A, as Gabs does find another. It was actually Chaos credited with that one, as Finners finds a trade.
Yeah, I'm not sure who got away with that camo at the start here, but maybe it was Furry Gang, because they have managed to take down 3 members of Space Cadets. Greenie, last one alive, will go down, and that first spawn comes in right in Finner's crosshair, doesn't manage to connect with the head. No. But as you said, off the start, a very good look for Space Cadets, but Furry Gang completely flipped that script straight away. It is Finners with the camo. He had the snipe as well, looking to put pressure onto these spawners, and that trip cap is still in effect.
It definitely is. Good find from Finners as well. Gonna swap out the sniper rifle for a BR. Always happy to see a BR. Me personally, I do get a little bit nostalgic about it. You know, before we had those bandit starts being introduced way back when. Different times Seal with this game. But Finners gonna get shut down. Top fragger tied for 5 with Chaos in the server thus far. Furry Gang starting to run away a little bit with the lead right now as they do surpass 60 points. And a little bit of silence does fall upon live fire for the time being. It is Gabs in a bit of a tricky position. TK2 is really trying to run him down. Puts himself in a bit of a predicament, but easy 2 frags found. Nice 2-piece strung together by TK2. That's a lot of open space created towards B.
Yeah, TK2 there, such phenomenal routing, managing to basically take 2 fights at once, backs down the player on the nest, and then whilst that player is hidden, uses the space that he's created to take down a player in B, and still finds the backsmack onto the nest player. Really good routing from him, and he's still at it, moving very quickly through A, securing that position. Now he's in the camo, putting down so much damage. Can he survive? No, he can't, as Chaos takes him down before he has a chance to use the QT, but Flubs is still going to escape with that camo.
Might be the sole survivor, but he can definitely start to take some wind out of the sails of Space Cadets. Not that they had any to begin with 11 points to their name thus far. A will be converted, and this is so much valuable intel that Flubs can capitalize on. Easy kill plus the assist, potentially a triple to be found, but there's a second that he'll lock in, a perfect as well to boot, and just like that, the entire A conversion brought to a grinding halt, basically. S7 is online, and Flub's trying to contest for this. He's still got a little bit of time left on this active camo as well, because it has been extended up to a minute, but S7's going to be taken into his arms, and this starts to get scary.
Yeah, the gameplay from Furry Gang here has just been so clean. They've gotten everything that they played for. They got the camo, they get the snipe every single time. They went 3 dead, and they still managed to pick up the camo because those players, before they went down, were creating that space, allowing Flubs to get it. He also has the sniper rifle in his hand. Hasn't quite managed to put it to use just yet, but they've got a perfect position to collapse onto this C position. Both of those players go down. The spawns are still coming in over here, though, and it doesn't seem like Flubs is quite aware of that. Does get taken down himself. 2v2 on the map. It's an opportunity for Furry Gang, but it's not really good enough for them just to have control of that C position. They're finally getting into A, but it might not even be enough, as it's now 3 up. They're going to get control of the C stronghold as well. A really nice stick there to even those numbers up just about. But even so, Furry Gang are still going to be finding themselves in scoring position despite all of the effort from Space Cadets to try and flip the script.
Yeah, Space Cadets are just being given absolutely no room to breathe whatsoever. TK2 does recover that S7. Not exactly sure what he's trying to line up right there, but Furry Gang, yeah, in a commanding lead. Not a whole lot the Space Cadets can really do at this certain point when you're losing fights like that as well. I don't know if you should be throwing in the towel prematurely. B and C still under the control of Furry Gang. Space Cadets just really having a rough time of it, and I think they've accepted their own fate as well. They will isolate Gabs. Easy little pick for TK2. A is going to be flipped, so will C. But I think we can already start to write off this opening map as well and truly in the control of Furry Gang. And you'll just have TK2 running all of these players down with the S7. One more bullet to speak of. Repulse up, but he does get taken out like a clay pigeon, unfortunately. But at this certain point, that's just a consolation kill for Space Cadets.
Yeah, you said at the start that Space Cadets had a pretty good start, and they did, you're right. And I really hope they enjoyed it, because those 11 points are 11 of 14 that they got this entire time. It's finally 2 strongholds in their control. TPN will manage to take down that player, capping it on the other side, but Gabs is going to find himself as the last one alive. He's getting chased down by players from multiple directions. He doesn't even know that they're there. 1v1 isn't going to be able to get that reversal. And it's looking like Furry Gang are going to get back into scoring position unless Chaos can make something happen there.
Let's see. What has Chaos got in stock for us? He does find one onto Finners. TK2 up towards the bridge, and luckily for Gabs, or Chaos, Gabs does bail him out a little bit, but Spence, the unknown factor, does smack down Chaos, and just like that, A will be flipped B narrowly, actually. 2 feet do get planted on it, but the conversion not quite locked in. It will be reset for Space Cadets. So they still do hold on to a majority for the time being, but I don't know if we should continue holding our breath for this one in this opening map right here. I mean, I am a bit of a dreamer. I do want to say that I'm a little bit glass half full, but I don't know. It's a bit of a mountain to climb right now for Space Cadets.
Yeah, I do really like the tenacity that we're seeing from them, though. They haven't given up. They're still going strong. And if they do manage to keep this up, they'll be feeling a lot better going into the next map. But Gabs, okay, he does manage to get out there. I was wondering what he was doing, but he had the QC. Gets taken down as well, though, by Suspense. The comms coming in there, telling him where he needed to look. Not going to be enough from Space Cadets. They had a good end to that game, though, and hopefully that means they'll have the wind a little more at their back going into map 2.
Yeah, definitely. We did unfortunately have one player exit the lobby, I imagine, due to a disconnect. And we will get confirmation on whether or not we continue with the last 12 or so points that Furry Gang needed to score, or if we're just going to wrap that one up as 250 to 74. But there you basically have the leaderboard and the breakdown of all of the action. It was Furry Gang's opening map through and through, little to no contestation. You can even see Flubs basically breaking even on kills and deaths. No one going negative at all. This was just about as textbook of a performance that you could have asked for. Everything went in their favor, and yeah, there were even a couple of moments throughout that map where it kind of looked like Space Cadets, they had basically given up, and Furry Gang were just very much happy to gobble up all of those points.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really have a chance to talk about the 2 rosters in the pre-game just because we were in so fast, but looking at them, you would look at Furry Gang and expect them to do very well. In this particular game. I think maybe Chaos is probably a player on the caliber of those on Furry Gang, but unfortunately, the rest of Space Cadets have never really been in that level of play before. So it's entirely possible that this is just going to be an insurmountable challenge. However, Slayers tend to be the wild card in the series. If you are the underdog, that's going to be the one that you might be able to eke out, because all you got to do is win your fights. That's not to say that that's all there is to a Slayer, but if you can just win your fights, then you're in a good spot. So we'll have to see if that's what they can do here.
I think I can say with quite a fair amount of confidence that usually it is these Slayers that prove to be the upset battlegrounds, where a team that looked like was completely out of it and lost is able to bounce back. I do hope for Space Cadets' sake that they will be able to put up a bit more of a competitive fight here in this second map, but Finners and co, all of Furry Gang immediately wiping out the entirety of Space Cadets. This pales in comparison to what we saw in the opening map with Space Cadets. Is decent-ish start on Strongholds. Losing out 4 players within the blink of an eye on Slayer is not what you want to see.
Yeah, what a great opening there for Furry Gang. And it looked like Suspense was asking TK2 for the shock rifle, and TK2 said, "No, actually, I think I'm going to keep." What is he doing? I'm not sure. He's having a bit of internal conflict about whether or not he wants this shock, but he's getting hunted down by 3 players. Manages to trade in a 1v3. He manages to trade in that push. Actually, Space Cadets traded negatively overall, despite the fact that they managed to run down a player with 3 of them. They do manage to take down Camo, though. This lead is sizable, but not particularly significant at this stage of the game.
No, exactly. With a gap of 4 kills, that could basically change in the blink of an eye. Gabs did have the shock rifle, but Finners is going to quickly salvage that. Sorry, Spence is going to be salvaging that instead. Does find TPN, struggles to get a little bit of a connection, but that's all well and good towards the elevator side. Shields up, guns up, and now Furry Gang are going to start making their way back over. Finners does open things up, slicing his way right through TPN, and that creates a lot of space for Suspense to try to move on in through, but he's a little bit late to the party. 2 players behind this corner. Suspense struggling to find a connection, but somehow does manage to get one with the plasma nade, but in the blink of an eye, Space Cadets somehow able to claw back a little bit. 3 were found dead for Furry Gang, and Space Cadets now starting to stabilize as they hit 10.
Yeah, you gotta say, maybe Furry Gang taking Space Cadets a little bit too lightly at the start of this game. They had a really good opening, but then they played a little bit hesitantly with the Camo and the shock, didn't seem to know what they were planning on doing, and there has been a comeback here from Space Cadets. It's still a noticeable lead, 7 kills in favor of Furry Gang, but they also do seem to be relying very much on their individual skill here. You know, we saw Suspense managing to trade in that situation with the Instasplode, similar to Cammy with the shock rifle. They're gonna have to do better than that maybe if they want to secure this game. However, Furry Gang are still looking like they're going to be on top. They managed to trade 3 for 2 there, and TK2 has the Camo.
Yeah, brilliant coordination. Shroud screen dropped, Camo picked up, and now TK2, he can just work his way behind enemy lines and find a couple of very easy picks in this instance. Not rewarded with any of the kills, but definitely some credit due as they double the scoreline the Space Cadets have placed on the board thus far. An even trade comes on through, but the gap remains at 13. And there's Suspense cleaning up Gabs from afar with the shock rifle as well. Furry Gang well, they've actually surpassed the halfway mark of this Slayer game. Space Cadets really struggling to find their footing. Gabs still stuck on a goose egg as well. And I don't really see their fortunes changing as this progresses.
Yeah, gonna need to see, hopefully Gabs is gonna be able to find himself a kill. He's got 20 left from Furry Gang before this game is over. And unfortunately, it's still not looking great for them as Space Cadets goes 3 down again, only managing to trade 1. Chaos alive towards this A side. Hopefully, he can secure some decent spawns for his team, but you can just see Furry Gang through the walls there, getting ready to push up through this tower position. Chaos manages to get damage down onto Cammy. Gonna start trying to push through here and find a pick, find any way back into this game for his team. Manages to get him 1 shot, but he won't win the fight. And unfortunately, on the other side of the map, they are running down Finners. But these players on the side of Furry Gang are just relentless, just constantly charging through.
Poor Suspense. Gotta do him dirty like that. Shock Rifle finds a perfect connection. And this with the Plasma Pistol could get very, very dirty, but I think Finners' antics have been read into, and he will be shut down, moving towards that grapple hook. TK2 now looking to secure a trade of sorts, but I like this ballsy initiative that he's taking all the way towards elevators. He does find one. He did second guess himself. He was initially going towards that golden pipe side, but he's going to let his shields get back up, and maybe he gets the jump onto Greeny in this instance. 2 plasma nades tossed out, but none stuck, unfortunately. With that, Furry Gang, they will hit 40. 14 ahead of Space Cadets. 10 more is all they need to close this one off.
The good news is that Gabs is off the goose. He's on 4 kills actually. He's managed to get quite a few in the last couple minutes.
There you go.
But that's basically the only good news for Space Cadets right now. It's pretty much an insurmountable lead, and it feels like Furry Gang knows that as well. They're just running it down at this point, relying on individual skill, finding those trades because they're not really that worried. However, that being said, I was about to say that fight went in favor of Space Cadets, but then TK2 turned up, and he's managed to find another one as well. He's putting damage down onto that top class position, and it just feels like there's nothing Space Cadets can do right now.
Nope. Chucking everything at the wall, but nothing appears to be sticking in the Slayer either. Flubs easily finding this last kill. Furry Gang, 50 to 31. Not quite sure if we saw the stake pop up, but you know what? It could be an honorary one at that anyway. So, 2 maps already done and dusted in rapid succession for Furry Gang, and that means that we are going to be moving towards Capture the Flag on Origin. This one, we have seen some pretty shocking speed runs in the past. At a tier 1 level, at the tier 2 level as well, and I don't think it's going to be that much of a different narrative right here for Furry Gang either.
No, I agree. I mean, Recharge is generally a very structured Slayer map. It tends to be fairly slow-paced.
Yeah.
But that was not slow-paced at all. That was just Furry Gang running into these guys because they know that they're going to win. And they were right, they did. And if that's the type of thing they can do on setup heavy, long sightline Recharge, then I shudder to think what they're going to get up to on the most aggressive Capture the Flag map in the game. I think we might be in for a fast one here. Yeah. But we've seen reverse sweeps before. It could happen, but I wouldn't be betting money on it.
No, definitely not. I mean, for Furry Gang, it's going to be as simple as getting the Spanker and getting the S7 as soon as humanly possible, and then just like that, Origin basically gets wrapped up in a blood-soaked bow, and they'll walk away with the series all together. I do still want to also highlight that initial fight from TK2, the 1v3 that we touched on a little bit earlier, where he just grapples his way straight into the thick of it and melees one player. That was pretty dirty, and I can imagine we might see the rest of Furry Gang also just get away with kills left, right, and center that might look like daylight robbery in CTF Origin. Could potentially be the last map. I do obviously want to stay hopeful that we might get a competitive series, but with a map like this and the beast that is Furry Gang in this best of 5, this should be pretty much over before it even begins.
Yeah, you can see Chaos's attention there split on the map a little bit. He tries to put down damage crossways, but he doesn't manage to do much. Greeny, though, has managed to get the sniper here in a long-range gunfight with Finners. Finners is just going to hold off because he knows he has teammates nearby, and now that that sniper has been taken down, he can pick up these rockets and start putting them to use. Isn't going to connect with the first one, will connect with the second one, although it was onto a one-shot player, but he's managed to pick up the sniper rifle as well.
Yeah, that's huge right now. So Finners going to be able to lay down some covering fire from any direction he wants, but 2 missed shots already, no connections found onto TPN. With 2 more shots left, he will narrowly manage to take one player down. A little bit of additional intel spotted. Peek down below, and he does manage to find a kill onto Chaos, and that's all 4 dead on the side of Space Cadets as the flag has already been pulled. So Furry Gang surely going to be able to run this one in, confirm it, lock it in, and get that first point secured.
Yeah, the only hope there would have been if they had a sniper on their side, but they didn't because Finners has it, and he's once again putting it to use. Takes down Gabs in this long-range fight with Chaos. Maybe gets caught out a little bit there, but it is going to be 3 dead for Furry Gang. TK2 finds himself as the last one standing, but he forces Chaos to back down. And the spawn's actually coming on the cave side of the map. Someone must be blocking those spawns over towards the elbow. Yep, there he is. That's Chaos over on that side of the map. TK2 there, basically completely shutting down that Space Cadets push by himself.
Yeah. Masterclass performance coming out from Furry Gang. And the Space Cadets, they will respawn back quite deep, and Finner's already taking up a lot of space towards his mid-bridge. They're just so relentless. The way that they're moving around the map and just being able to meet Space Cadets halfway so quickly, sure, this time it doesn't work out as much. Flubs is the last player alive as 3 of them are dead briefly, but the flag does get pulled momentarily. TPN does go down. That's a very crucial fight for Flubs to have walked away with relatively unscathed, and he's just going to continue running this flag on through, pass it up the bridge, I imagine, picked up, yeah, and just like that, Furry Gang, they're basically just piecing this together as easy as you like. It's clean Halo from them through and through.
I can't stress enough the fact that Flubzo was last one alive when he pulled that flag.
Yeah.
He pulled the flag, won a 1v1, and then his teammate spawned. They helped him from across the map, and then he manages to run that flag all the way while his teammates are still coming off spawn. That is an unbelievable flag run. It's, as you know, the term you used earlier, it's daylight robbery. I don't know what the hell Space Cadets were up to that Furry Gang managed to do that. It's incredible from them, but it's also heartbreaking for Space Cadets that even when they have 3 dead, it just seems like they have no opportunity to actually get anything done.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best sort of litmus test, use case example that goes to show exactly what kind of skill discrepancy there is between these two squads overall. If Flubs can get the job done entirely solo and foster and facilitate some kind of flag capture from a play like that, and he's also just shooting these fish in a barrel at the bottom of the map, I think this basically says it all. That Furry Gang, even though they didn't necessarily get it done in just a couple of minutes, I mean, we've been at this for, what, 3.5, I think, by now, if math serves me correctly, but still, it's relentless. It is so extraordinarily one-sided. Sure, Space Cadets, they might be putting a bit of a fight on paper in terms of the raw kill count as well, but aside from that, they have not gotten one flagpole themselves up until this point. They're losing these power weapons left, right, and center, and Suspense is just harassing them now with this S7 as well, keeping them trapped further in their own spawns.
Yeah, the map control for Furry Gang has just been absolutely overwhelming. They're shooting each other now for some reason. Suspense picks up a couple snipes as well on the spawners, and there really just wasn't a time in that entire series where Space Cadets looked like they were in it. Furry Gang had their number 100% of the time.
Yeah. And just like that, the first series is basically completely done. Furry Gang truly getting the job done in as little time as possible. What a performance coming out from them. Kill count wasn't necessarily all too stellar, but I do have to give credit to Flubs. 13 and 4. It is ridiculous given the length, but as we mentioned as well, the individual impact that he had in this concluding map cannot go understated. It has to be recognized. That solo flagpole, the 1v3, despite having the rest of his team basically sat on the respawn screen, and then all the contributions and impact kills found with those power weapons, Flubs was insane in this map.
Yeah, Flubs was incredible, and you saw just the level of map control that Space Cadets were able to exert. The Furry Gang were able to exert onto Space Cadets. They just couldn't go anywhere. They tried to overextend to stop that flag capture, and Flubzo's shooting them in the back. They just have nowhere to go, and unfortunately for them, the side of Furry Gang just never relented in their oppressive tactics. You see these two players, as you described it, fish in a barrel. Flubzo has time to run out of ammo, reload, and kill this guy, because his team is just doing so much on the map that he knows that no one's going to shoot him in the back.
Kind of at a loss for words, and I think there's not much else that can be said about this opening series regardless. That is a 3-0 progression for Furry Gang, and that means that they will secure their spots for the spring finals, which will take place, if I'm not mistaken, in about 2 weeks' time. So, congrats to Furry Gang for basically locking things in. But for the time being, that does mean that we have basically like glossed over this opening series extraordinarily fast. And there is some more Halo action to come up very shortly. So don't go too far. We'll be back in just a few.
bending over backwards just to let you in. I told you that one day ain't never enough. You tell me I hate you, I still call you up. If we don't got trust, we can never have love. I was putting in the hours, I was. But you were calling me a liar, 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 liar. Yeah, I've been putting in the hours, I was. And it's coming down and now and now and now and now and never. I was putting in the I'm sick of fighting the things that you said. I don't wanna burn all our bridges ahead. I'm tired of going to bed when you left me on red just to turn up the noise in my head. I told you that one day ain't never enough. You tell me I hate you, I still call you up. If we don't got trust, we can never have love. I was putting in the hours, I was. You were calling me a liar, 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 liar. I've been putting in the hours, I was. And it's coming down and now and now and now and now and never. I was putting in the putting in the
Double kill. Enemy team.
Go on, myself. I'm cold, steel stainless. My glass half full.
Double kill. Enemy team score. Perfect. Enemy team.
Spit it out, just tell me honestly. You should know I'm not your enemy. You won't trust, I want it just as much. You need love, I need the same for us. Look at all this time we're wasting, screaming at each other, baby. Wanna understand. So you walk away, I feel bad when you hold me. We want the same thing. You say the same, so when we fight it, we want the same thing. We want the same thing. We want the same thing. Feel a wall between you and me. Just can't get back through. So far from you.
And one more on thrust, going our couch, going our trench. To our trench, Men's is one shot. It's fully, so he just redone.
Bottom mid.
Oh,
One
the
snipe.
S2 in maze.
One snipe.
Watch the window, Window sliding out now. Still one.
Dying, of course. On the flag one.
Nice.
Good set for me.
There was one there window, I believe. They have rockets as well, they have rockets.
Oh, S3. Oh, RBR, huh?
Our window one. Snap. Nice snap.
Nice. Hit.
Going S3.
Go snipe it.
Our way snap. It's 3 now in their maze. One.
Two maze.
We're both weak. One's grass now.
I'm silver with you or something. That's snipe ramp, I think.
That's one elbow, that's one
On
elbow.
RBR, control our window. Yeah, our window and our cave.
Dead.
Cave is one shot, Abso, treasure. Silver ramp. He's gone after front base.
More rockets. Or elbow.
Cave now.
Any elbow. Front cave killing me for free. More elbow, our elbow.
One's on snipe.
Elbow in de race. On the flag.
Last snap, you last.
Er zijn er weer heen gelopen, ouwe. Pulling.
Air shoots.
Nice. Nice spot.
Did our cave ever die?
I think so, yeah.
Elbow.
Wait, one more.
One shot their cave.
We need to get the reboys.
Yeah,
Three.
snipes down bottom mid, Reeves.
2-shot grass.
That's really
Snipe
left.
for us, bottom mid. He's going our elbows snipe. You're looking for sling.
Yeah, it's in our. And I get shot from arcade.
Cave's dead.
2 dead. Snipe.
On elbow.
Killed sniper.
Ready with one.
The snipe's still not dead.
I don't know where he went.
Yeah.
It's our couch. One.
Dead.
Nice.
They're elbow.
Rocket ramp.
Rocket ramp. One shot. Dead.
Nice. Window, I
That
think.
cave.
And cave. Cave and
Two
window.
caved. One more cave. Good from sniper ramp.
I see him, bro. I'm there.
He's there for
Nice. Top base.
ramp out.
Where they went?
Down. And spawning back, I think spawning back base. Window one
Nice.
shot. Okay, look for sling.
Their elbows, one. Bottom base. Their bottom
Snipe.
base, still
One,
challenging.
two, one shot. Oh,
Rockets up in
nice.
5.
Hull shields RS3, RS3. RBR, yeah.
Ignoring him. Rocks it down. No
One rocket out, one rocket out.
One rock.
Our Fountain, our
Yeah,
maze.
there's rockets now.
Snipe lift. Dead. Nice.
One was their elbow.
Raise rockets, Phoenix. Just raise it. Yeah, drop on you, Phoenix.
Dead.
Nice, go elbow, we go elbow.
Yeah, I'm going. They're
trying to
nading
get
me.
out.
Hold on. Yeah, there's one their elbow.
Shields, fuck.
Cave.
Get them.
Going for back base.
Shields.
Keeping I'm next to you. Nice.
Dropping on me.
Just lift. We have to lift, I think. 2-2. One
Yeah,
bottom in.
two bottom.
Nice,
One
Phoenix,
More,
you
one more
bro.
side.
There's
One
one more.
And then another one snipe side, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Nice,
yeah.
one more cross.
They're
I'm
bottom.
one, I'm one trench, I'm one trench.
shot.
Yeah, me too.
Here. Two shot there, courtyard.
Keep shooting, boys.
Can't push you, don't worry. Still
Just
the
one
courtyard.
shot.
Could be L now snipe.
Elbow.
Oh man, two snipe side, two
S2.
snipe side.
S3.
S3. 3 dead, shit on.
Snipe ramp. Dead. Both
I'm one, Nils, I'm one.
Two spawns.
I'm on as well.
I'm going S3 for a bit.
Snipers in 10. We just chill.
Yeah.
Our elbow maybe?
They made 2 shots.
2 cave.
On our flag. Full. Window now.
Yeah, Windows weak. Our silver. Get out, Phoenix, get out, you're last.
Flag. Carrier dead, one more.
Carrier, one more.
And then snipe ramp probably after.
Yeah, no, he's behind you. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. He's on my Fountain.
Dead.
That's nice. So one more on, maybe on the re? Yeah, on the re. We need buddies there. We need buddies
One
there.
shot on the re.
Re. Sneaky. Went sneaky.
One
Nice,
fountain,
good shit.
one's on
Still
base,
sneaky,
on
still
basement.
sneaky.
I'll go trade.
Kiss that. Nice. One more.
Our base now. Our base, okay.
Dude, flag full. And one more our basement. Flex one, help him.
Flag will die.
Nice. One more there, front cave, our front cave.
Cave's 2 shot.
Their window.
Dead.
There we are one. There we are. Nice, Niels. Oh my god.
We got basement, cave side.
Looking. Dead.
Nice, guys.
Nice.
Beautiful.
That's snipe ramp. Two shot.
One
He's
shot.
one now.
What about rockets?
Yeah, I have it, Loki. Their fountain weak. Fountain still, sink.
Pushing rocks.
On top rockets. They have it on their our couch, one shot. Nice, one rocket out. I can get rockets, I spawn there.
One shot in their base.
Yeah. On their cave as well.
I'm pushing elbow.
Cave is out, rockets are out.
One
Cave,
shot sniper.
sniper. One more cave.
Back
Nice.
to base is
They're back base, he spawned.
All you, Phoenix.
Ah, yeah, there's one. I got cross snipe.
Fine, though. Good try.
One's S2. S2's pushing S3. He's our S3, probably about BR.
I'm watching that.
Wait, no,
Two
wait.
shot, one dead.
Never mind.
There's one at elbow.
Can I help you? I'm coming.
Our elbow's dead. I'm gonna die from top rockets.
Yeah, top rockets. Hey, it's trench shot, one shot.
Our window, guys.
Trench is one shot as well.
Elbow, one shot.
Nice.
One more trench
One
still.
rocket ramp on their basement. I'll go our elbow side.
One on one.
Rocket ramp now.
Front cave, front cave.
Absol our rocket. Absol our elbow. He's
I'm
on
looking.
weapon. There's two. One more.
Our window's 2 shots.
Wait,
Our window's
elbow.
2 shots. One shot in our window.
Still elbow. Elbow never died.
Nep, go forward, Nep. Fast forward.
Yeah, spawning their cave.
I
He's
just
swinging.
smoked. Nice.
Elbows one.
We can't
Cave is
maze.
outside.
We can't maze.
They're elbow now, Nep.
Yeah, I'm chucking flag out so you can watch it.
They're silver weak.
Their window.
Treasure.
Our silver. Dead. One on re.
Nice. That's last. 2. Yep, bullet, I think. Nice bet. Nice bet. Oh my god.
Cave,
Spawn,
black.
spawn.
Are we kidding me? Get that fucking re.
Yeah, I bet this did everything.
Yeah.
Shit. He did so much there. Holy shit.
For that fucking nade? Your mom's a hoe.
That's the 3-0 you wanted.
Your mom's a hoe. This map sucks.
Double kill.
tattoo. I still think of you. Those days are gone. I wonder if you still think of me too.
Double kill.
I still think of you. I still think of you. Stuck on me like an old tattoo. I still think of you. Those days are gone. I wonder if you still think of me too.
This feels a little too perfect how we are now. You think I throw a little caution, but I don't want this to change. Been waiting too long for a moment like this. Said that you won't leave, better off with me. The kind of feeling I can't explain. Like how it feels drenched in the moonlight. Like how it feels under the stars. A step out of bounds with our own pride. A push towards the peace in the heart. If it rains down on us, drown out the noise, and I'll trust the mirror, mirror on the wall. Is it fair to watch me fall, broken up in pieces? Can you see me bleeding? Mirror, mirror, tell me please if these broken memories are enough to break free. Will it take just slowly? Each day I'm moving along with what fits best for
Double kill.
taking me forward and back. It all I know still leads right through to the start of the end where the paths can't chase us. You should stay for a while, disregard all the masks. If it's you and I will be okay. Like how it feels drenched in the moonlight. Like how it feels under the stars. A step out of bounds with our own pride. A push towards the peace in the hearts. If it rains down on us, drown out the noise, and I'll trust the mirror, mirror on the wall. Is it fair to watch me fall, broken up in pieces? Can you see me bleeding? Mirror, mirror, tell me please if these broken memories
what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you, but what you gonna do? And you know I'm feeling good like that, so what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you, but what you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Kiss me like citrus and fruit, burning so sweetly. Too shy to call you alive when you said you need me. In a week from now, I'll be trying not to call you. Talking myself down, explaining that there's no use. Ooh, I'm gonna hurt myself trying to love you. You're gonna hurt me too. Kiss and tell me to go soon. You're gonna hurt me too. You're gonna hurt me too. You're gonna hurt me too. You're gonna hurt me I feel like I've got such sad eyes, looking so pathetic. I miss how your teeth sounded scraping against my necklace. In an hour from now, I'll be trying not to call you. Talking myself down, explaining that there's no use. Ooh, I'm gonna hurt myself trying to love you. You're gonna hurt me too. Kiss and tell me to go soon. You're gonna hurt me too. You're gonna hurt me too.
just wanna sleep forever. I wish you'd come. Stuck inside a dream forever. Climb only to fall. I don't wanna bring you down, so I lock myself away. I told you I don't need your help, but now I wish you'd stay. I wish you'd stay. When the voices get too loud, you know you're all I think about. I don't wanna bring you down, so I lock myself away. I told you I don't need your help, but now I wish you'd stay. I don't wanna bring you down, so I lock myself away.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience, but we finally have our second best of 5 ready and geared up for this evening. My name is Tudor, once again joined by Seal. The first game that we saw, quick and easy, little 3-0, scored in by Furry Gang, but now we're going to be changing gears a little bit as we look towards, if I'm not mistaken, Nihilistic Blues versus OK, let's go. I'm hyped.
Yeah, me too. I'm especially hyped for this OK Let's Go roster because I have no idea what to expect from them. I don't
Neither.
know any of them. I've seen DNA Gandalf in a few 8SQs and he's pretty good. I have no idea who the others are or how good they are. So this could be, you know, a repeat of last series where it's a complete beatdown in one direction or another, or it could be really close and I have no idea. I do know Nihilistic Blues. They're a pretty good team. I know Brian Noob and Dreams have been teaming together since at least the first Stoke LAN, where they managed to place. Where are they? They were called the Villain Arc, and they managed to place top 17, which basically is the lowest you could place whilst making, the highest you could place whilst not making it to the championship bracket. So they did pretty well. But we're starting things off, and we'll see how they do.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of new names for me specifically as well. I'm curious to see exactly what we're going to see. Quality of Halo. It is going to be, start things off Oddball on Recharge. GTL Empire opens things up as we do have OK Let's Go picking up the Skull immediately. That's Brian Noob going down as well as Major Lee. Now working towards that shock rifle to see if he can grab it uncontested. But it's instead going to be the player with the camo. Not exactly sure who that is in the corner of my eye, but it is Eevee Sisu that finds one with the shock rifle and does have that that grapple hook to be able to get out of harm's way and keep this active camo alive. This is a very dangerous combination of tools and tools.
Yeah, it's been a very confident start for OK Let's Go. Off the opening, it felt like they knew exactly what they were playing for, and they got all of it. They got ball, they got camo, and they got shock rifle. That should guarantee them a pretty solid setup here, at least until this camo runs out. Does look like Eevee didn't quite know there was still a player up there and gets taken down by the cross maps. That's such good comms from those players on Nihilistic Blues to shut that down, and Brian Noob gets another kill, having also taken down the camo player, with Square Melon picking up that shock rifle kill as well. Nihilistic Blues, just after I say that this setup should be stable, but no! The sticky grenade, it takes down 2 players. Brian Noob and Theo Melon goes down as well. And it just goes to show you never know what the hell is going to happen in this game. Now, Dreams finds himself as the last man standing, and he's going to have to try and hold off these players.
Yeah, definitely. Skull could potentially get reset unless it's picked up, but Dream's doing a decent job. He's also got Square Melon to back him up, so that's 3 dead on the side of OK, let's go, and they do manage to recover that Skullwood. It seems like for the first time in this opening round of Oddball, so they will start to claw their way back slowly but surely. This Plasma Pistol finds a decent hit and a beat down onto EV as well, as Dreams is just going to take a whole lot of this empty space towards top gold. That's a bit of a jump scare. The second melee doesn't quite connect to the bottom of batteries, unfortunately. And OK, let's go. Starting to stabilize a little bit. 35 points and counting.
Yeah, they have managed to recover from that camo getting taken down. The sticky grenade there really shut down the attempt at a setup from Nihilistic Blues, but they did manage to scrap up 20 seconds during that time. Now that camo is coming up, and it is going to be, I think, Dreams managing to sneak away with it. Going to be getting himself into Whirlpool, looking for this kill, but the commando shots are good. Not good enough, though. Dreams takes him down and stays alive as everybody on OK, Let's Go falls down around him. He manages to find the last one. 4 dead for OK, Let's Go. Nihilistic Blues still have this camo. Dreams is spawning them in A, and now he's looking to collapse onto these spawners, finding shots onto EV, takes him down. But another player has managed to sneak through the C plat area, but Dreams takes down another player in A. The ball gets played, though. They're winning the fight, but the ball gets played out. And what looked like such a good opportunity for Nihilistic Blues has slipped through their fingers.
Maybe so. They do control these battery sides, so picking up the Skull shouldn't be too difficult. They've got the agency to do so, and just continuing to, well, keep this control underneath their belt. It's working out perfectly. Every single one of these OK, Let's Go players is just dropping like flies. Nihilistic Blues exerting brilliant map control through and through. But the tide is turning a little bit. The boys in blue on the side of OK, Let's Go are starting to clap back a little bit. So Nihilistic Blues, they do manage to establish a lead all to themselves, but it is short-lived. Maybe you were right. Maybe they should have pounced on those opportunities a little bit more, as they had those gaps to work with to build up some points, to rack up a little bit more of a lead. Could have been a little bit of a tighter game, but it still is for the time being, as only 8 points separate these two for now.
Yeah, I want to highlight how well Nihilistic Blues played that. They sort of immediately pounced on the fact that OK, Let's Go, despite having kills in that situation, did not claim control of this C side of the map. They flew through tower so fast, got in behind the other team, removed that opportunity to play the ball out, and now they've stolen the setup right out from under OK, Let's Go.
It's looking really, really good. They have the potential to play ball, reset it should they desire, should the heat get a little bit too hot, but with the spawns being perfectly controlled for the time being, Dreams off screen finding a perfect kill. EV does clap back with one of his own, and Square Melon just sort of retreating back to that Skull just in case. But the points are being racked up. There's give or take 15 more that need to basically be gathered. Ball does get dropped momentarily as well. And it does seem like OK, Let's Go have got a window of opportunity. EV is going to pick up that Skull, so they are able to sort of claw their way back into this, but they prioritize the Skull. That means they lose out on this camo. So Dreams, he's got the opportunity to just throw a wrench into the OK, Let's Go gears at this point. It's scary. Oh no! Misconnection, and the ball does get played, actually, so I think Nihilistic Blues are okay with that for the time being, but it's going to get really tight from this point onwards.
That was a very strange minute or so of gameplay. We saw major mistakes coming from both teams. Nihilistic Blues had ample opportunity to play that ball out, and they did not. And meanwhile, OK, Let's Go had 3 players alive, and not one of them was looking at the camo. Dreams ACG managing to get away with this ball and camo, going to be throwing it up to his teammate. 3 dead for OK, Let's Go. All of that could maybe have been avoided if the players on OK, Let's Go had challenged for the camo at all, but they didn't. And now, with less than 10 seconds left, make that 5. There's no one even close to the ball. This is going to be round 1 in favor of Nihilistic Blues.
Yeah, perplexing string of events leads Nihilistic Blues to taking that first round and collecting the last 15 points that they would have needed. But yeah, what else can you do? It was super duper tight, and then I guess something just stopped processing towards the very end of that opening round. But that's fine for Nihilistic Blues. They'll happily take it. I do want to obviously highlight. I'm gonna butcher his name really, really bad. Othia. 68 points.
Othi, yeah.
Othi, yeah. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. 68 points on the skull. It's an absolutely insane amount. 2 players dead right now as we come back to reality for Nihilistic Blues. Okay, let's go. Do have control of that skull, and they're going to start moving it, I imagine, towards this elevator side. And they do clear out Square Melon, so they can use this territory.
Yeah, I really like the opening strats we've seen from OK Let's Go. This is the second time in a row that they've managed to get Camo Shock and Ball all at once, but we'll have to see if this time they can maintain control of them just a little bit better. Empire here has been forced to back away from that tower position. The ball's actually been stolen out from under his team. But he's not gonna get away, actually. Those players just pounce on him, making sure that that Camo Shock doesn't escape. And it feels like Nihilistic Blues are very aware of how dangerous that combination is, and when they see an opportunity to take it down, they do not squander it.
No, exactly. At that certain point, it could spiral out of control, and then recovering from it, in and of itself, becomes quite the impossible task to accomplish. Downpour taken out before being able to slip back behind cover. EV now looking to reclaim control of this control room itself. Does have to battle one player, but will fall at the hands of Brian Noob. And Othi, yeah, at the top of gold as well. Does have to worry about Major Lee, who's going to get right personal. Not winning that one, unfortunately. Walking out in a body bag, it seems. Nihilistic Blues also starting to regain a little bit more control, but surprisingly, not a whole lot of action actually taking place towards the skull itself. It's barely been picked up. It's kind of just sat stationary for the majority of play in round number 2.
Yeah, we've seen practically no ball time from either team here, which is interesting to say the least. It just feels like no one's felt comfortable that they have an opportunity to really do so, which, you know, is surprising when you consider the fact that OK Let's Go really did have quite a good start to this round. 5 seconds on this camo. I really need to see OK Let's Go start to actually try and put these to use. They've gotten a few of them, but they've gotten very little value from them. Meanwhile, Nihilistic Blues has basically been won the previous round off the back of camo plays, and Othi, yeah, has gotten away with the camo. Sneaking around, Empire has no idea where he is, gets taken down, 2 dead on either side. Nihilistic Blues, though, with this camo player in play, it doesn't look like OK Let's Go have any idea where he is.
No.
It doesn't look like they're going to be in a position to shut it down. Meanwhile, he's just waiting for an opportunity, waiting for someone weak to hang around. He's just going to be in this position, denying that ball pickup, but Empire does manage to sneak away with it, and that player spots him out on the grapple. And Othi gets taken down.
That's insane. That is such a beautiful read coming out from OK Let's Go to shut down the camo before it really even actually had an opportunity to activate. That camo was definitely translating into a lot of good intel, but not capitalized upon, not converted into kills either. So that is a really good opening overall for OK Let's Go. Square Melon does find one inside control, so that does split this map back into 2 as well. He's going to circle around and catch Empire off spawn, collect or kill collected by Brian Noob as well. And I'm really liking the setup coming out from Nihilistic Blues as well. They're effectively able to shut down so much motion towards the center side. You see Square Melon, he's just picking off these players one by one and dealing so much damage to them. And that just gives Brian Noob all the free room to move that skull towards a reset position where you can play the ball easily. This is just, yeah, they're just farming points at this point. It's so brilliantly played.
Yeah, and Brian Noob, as well as getting that ball time, actually picks up 2 kills during that setup, and he gets the ball off the map. Fantastic play from Brian Noob. No notes there at all. He did everything that was his job to do in that moment. Meanwhile, on the side of OK Let's Go, they're finally managing to put some time on the board themselves. They're actually going to overtake Nihilistic Blues, what was a pretty good setup from them. Feels like it's just been wiped away in a moment. This rotation, it should be coming through here, should be able to get it up to A, hopefully with the opportunity to play it out. In fact, they might even continue rotating it. But no, Empire's going to get taken down before he has a chance to.
I think that's kind of the narrative for this game of Oddball, you know, momentary elation followed by crippling depression as these leads are just going back and forth, being exchanged left, right, and center between these 2 squads. Othia is gonna, well, slap that active camo onto his chest and dip into the shadows. Ball has been picked up and technically is in the possession of OK Let's Go, but Othia, he does have the potential to just absolutely poop on this party. Lots of valuable intel being fed to the remainder of the team, and he needs to start activating now. That's Major Lee packed up and dead. Downpour is the next target, the next victim that he's looking for. This camo, unfortunately, doesn't live to find a second kill. So, okay, let's go. They managed to stabilize this barrage of manpower towards the elevator side, and they hold on to the skull, surpassing 50 points.
Yeah, it felt like the pick there came in for Nihilistic Blues, but they just weren't in a position to capitalize, and suddenly Theo finds himself in there on his own with the camo, but no real opportunity to make a play. Gets taken down. But now, with only 35 seconds on the game clock, the pressure is on for Nihilistic Blues here. They're going to have to break through this setup soon. But Major Lee, if he's smart, is just going to drop this ball. You don't have to hold it there. Just put it on the ground.
Yeah.
Put it on the ground. Let the game clock run down. You can fight with 4 guns instead of 1. But no, he's actually going to keep milking that time. If he gets taken down without playing the ball, it could be a disaster. But no, they are going to manage to play it off. He's going to milk more time off the ball, though. Just before that, probably the right play in the end. Just to get that extra time. Only 20 seconds on the clock now. If you're sure of playing it, then that was probably the right thing to do, but I think I would have preferred to see them play time and run that clock down just a little bit more, because they could have already won, but I think they will anyway. Square Melon with the shock rifle. He's very good with this weapon, but it's not going to be enough, as he is just about going to get the ball into his hands and rotate it towards his team.
I don't really want to believe my eyes right now. That clock, it is flashing on 000 as a matter of fact. Millisecond perfect, and now you know you cannot drop this hot potato at all. Nihilistic Blues and Square Melon specifically, there is no such thing as passing this off to a teammate, but now the pressure is on OK Let's Go to get a move on as soon as humanly possible, and that's the mistake made. Square Melon did not have to expose himself, and just like that, what could have been maybe about 11 more seconds to claw it back and have Nihilistic Blue close it out in 2. We're now going to just run it back. It's a glorified best of 1 oddball round as we move into the final one to conclude this opening map.
I don't want to, like, harp on it, but Downfall was the last one alive. All Melon had to do there was go in the other direction, just be with his teammates. They probably would have won the round. No one would have gotten there in time. But still, it is the camo in the hands of Brian Noob now. He's got the shock rifle as well. Every previous round, we've seen OK Let's Go start with both of these, and they haven't really managed to convert that into dominant ball time. We'll have to see how they can do without either of them now, as Downpour might be able to take him down. The damage comes in, but not the headshot. And Downpour's going to get the shock rifle, but gets taken down himself. Neither team having managed to put hands on the ball yet.
No, and I think we're going to kind of see the same concept as we did in that second round, where that skull is just going to remain cold for quite a hefty chunk of time until either one of these two teams feels like they've got enough map control and feel like they can control those spawns as well to a decent enough extent. Okay, let's go. They're just living up to their namesake and grabbing that oddball. It's about damn time as well, after a minute of elapsed to play. Empire, really tricky engagement, and does get taken down behind that cover. He thought he was safe, but apparently not. And now the collapse coming in through from Nihilistic Blues. Not a chance in hell that any of these OK Let's Go members should walk out alive, but they managed to claw it back. Square Melon is the last person alive, technically inside gold, and he's just getting run down by Empire. So just like that, OK Let's Go, they stem the bleeding a little bit, and they retain control over that skull.
Yeah, I like the aggression that we're seeing here from Empire, and he does manage to find that kill. Thought he might get punished for it, but not quite. Square Melon pushed up very far on the map, gets taken down, and it looks like OK Let's Go have had a surge of confidence after their close win in the previous round, and they're just playing so aggressively right now. But Dreams does win the 1v1. Gonna get taken down by this other player, though. Gets him down to absolute. Downpour should go down to that player. Blue Pipes will do. And now it's 3 dead for OK Let's Go, and an opportunity for Nihilistic Blue to tie up this round.
Yeah, definitely so. Hopping on with Square Melon, top fragging in the server. 34 kills to his name is quite the insane stat, and Brian Noob tailing by just 1 frag as well. They're going to start to mobilize as the active camo is online. Easy find there for Square Melon. A second one potentially, but traded out instead by Empire as Othia has actually gotten away with the skull, and he's just going to farm a couple of points. There is absolutely no pressure on him whatsoever. The guy's chilling.
Yeah, he is chilling. And unfortunately for him, though, he's not going to be chilling for very long, as these players in C will manage to pressure him out, but they actually doubled, or almost doubled, the scoreline of OK Let's Go in the time that that team was not in position to do anything about it. So now Major Lee going to find himself kind of high and dry in this this Stacks position without the ability to do a whole lot, and trades out with Square Null.
Bit odd, this exchange right here. Empire on a sliver of HP. Does have the active camo still intact and alive. There's definitely a lot of potential to be found, but as I say that, I should actually be eating my words, because that active camo just expired. But he does have the grapple hook, so he can immediately hop right back into, well, certain death by the looks of that well-placed grenade. Gotta give credit where it's due, but Nihilistic Blues, they do hit 50 points. They've got control of this elevator side. Okay, let's go. Needing to find a foothold, needing to get back into the rim of things.
Yeah, and I feel like once again we just aren't seeing the level of effectiveness with camo from OK Let's Go that we have with Nihilistic Blues. That one really didn't feel like it had a huge amount of impact on the game. You know, a lot of that camo time was actually spent racking up points for Nihilistic Blues, and now they're on 70, only 30 seconds required. They do manage to get 4 dead, but they've got a bit of a mountain to climb here, Tudor.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to be able to do it.
Only time can tell, realistically. I do like the proactivity from OK Let's Go. You see that they're trying to take initiative towards those fights over towards gold, but the kill feed is being painted entirely red. Didn't quite work out, and Major Lee now having to drop the skull to try to pick up the slack here and there, but these gunfights really not going the favor of OK Let's Go. They do manage to string together about 22 points in that altercation. It's a decent effort, but we need to see a little bit more come out from them. And with Nihilistic Blue having control of this mid-side, access to the active camo looks good, but suddenly, OK Let's Go, they come in and they just sweep out the rug from underneath Nihilistic Blue. So now they walk out with just about all of the net positives. They've got the skull, they've got this active camo. Major Lee now looking to potentially hit 30 kills himself if he can string together a multi, but gets shut down by Brian Noof. That is massive for Nihilistic Blues, and Eevee's in the spot to reset this as well, so this should be, in theory, a way for them to tie up the scoreline.
Yeah, I think once again we see from Nihilistic Blues a really good oh no, what the hell was that? But as I
we
was
need
saying,
to talk about that
see...
a little bit more. That should not have happened.
I don't really understand what happened, to be honest. That was just, I mean, it was a brawl, but somehow the two could not defeat the one. We're a tied game at 70-70, ball down near downpour, and with 3 having gone down for Nihilistic Blues, what looked like, you know, it looked like OK Let's Go, we're going to be able to tie up the match, but then Nihilistic Blues were going to get their hands on the ball. However, that's not really what happened at all. Finally, though, Nihilistic Blues are going to get it. 4 dead now for OK Let's Go. This is the setup that looked like it should have happened after that fight back C. It was a little bit scrappy, but we got there in the end. And also, Theo's on like 160 seconds of ball time. This guy's just racking it up.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. What I genuinely thought was a blunder from Nihilistic Blues as 2 players went down to the hands of Eevee, they've actually been able to turn it around. Look at this as well with Brian Noob. 43 kills to his name is utter insanity at this point. Square Melon not too far behind, and he is probably going to lock this one in. 3 more points required, but not going to get there just yet. Nihilistic Blues still very much in a commanding lead, but OK Let's Go quick to respond. They have that mid control, they pick up that skull, and they do manage to rotate it further and further away from Nihilistic Blues. So, once again, this is going to be a damn close affair moving into the tail end of this closing round of Oddball. And Brian Noob goes down pummeled by that skull, is just trying to be shoved into his own helmet. This is insane. 6 more kills, 6 more points, 5 technically, the gap between these two. Right now, it's a scramble between the 2 of them. 3 players down, 4 OK Let's Go. Nihilistic Blues, they walk out with the skull as the dust settles, and they take this 3rd round all to themselves.
That game didn't feel like it should have been as close as it was, if that makes sense. Nihilistic Blues really looked better for a lot of it, but it just felt like OK Let's Go just kept scrapping and scrapping and scrapping. They really just would not let you know, they just wouldn't let Nihilistic Blues run away with it. They fought really hard there. And it's, you know, it's a testament to how good Nihilistic Blues played that they managed to come away with a win. But I think a lot of credit's going to be given to OK Let's Go for how hard they fought that game.
Yeah, definitely. It might have been a very unstructured game of Oddball, but you know what? Sometimes you really just gotta have your metal be put to the test like that, and it is Nihilistic Blues that walk out victorious, and they've got the kills to back it up. Total of 17 points differentiating these two. That really goes to show exactly just how damn close it was overall. But when we're talking about that raw fragging potential, Brian Noob with 45 kills to his name, Square Melon tailing by 4, and then still putting up the ball time on to boot as well. You also touch on it. Othia with, 160 seconds worth of ball time on top of that, really being the OBJ mule in a sense. This was just through and through a wondrous performance coming from Nihilistic Blues. And OK Let's Go, sure, they tailed a little bit, but I think this is really indicative as to how close of a series we can expect in this best of 5.
Yeah, I really can't sing the praises of the enough after that map. He played that phenomenally, and the thing is, he had so much ball time, like obviously as the stats show, but we also saw whenever we were on his point of view and he had the ball, he wasn't just like ball botting, he wasn't just standing there with it and relying on his teammates. You know, just before the clip we're on now, we see him rotating that across the C-plat, he throws it to his teammate, and then runs to find a kill that he knows he is the best person to go and get. That's exactly how you should be playing with the ball. It is no one's job to hold ball, and it is everyone's job to hold ball.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't think of yourself as the ball player. You should be thinking, what is the way that we can maximize the amount of time we're going to get on this ball? And I feel like that is exactly what he was doing that whole game. And as you said, it was a 17-point difference in total.
Mm-hmm.
Those seconds add up, and that level of objective efficiency is probably what made the difference in the end.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, for Nihilistic Blues, it could have been over in 2, remember. That second round of Oddball did seem like out of the blue as well. OK Let's Go were able to, well, kind of just claw their way back into it unexpectedly, almost as if Nihilistic Blues fumbled it, but they did manage to get the job done. And now we're going to be transitioning over towards Origin Slayer. This is where I think we're going to start moving into a little bit more of a normality, because that Oddball game, entertaining as it was also confusing as hell. I've got to say it outright. And now we're just going to be dropping all of that objective nonsense. It's just raw, pure fragging that we get to see right here.
Yeah, and speaking of fragging, it has been OK Let's Go starting out hot in this game. They've got the sniper. I think they probably got the rockets as well. But Brian Noob's maybe looking to shut down this sniper player straight away. Empire is going to scuttle away with it. Has still got it in hands. Assist on the board, but with this sniper rifle in their back pocket, OK Let's Go should be in a decent position. Although, Empire really doesn't seem to have any idea where the enemy is. They're right behind him. Melon does get taken down, fortunately for Empire. That could have been a massive blunder, but no, he finds the double kill with that sniper rifle. Dreams is the only one left alive, and they're in a perfect position for the spawn as he gets them both one-shot, finds a kill and an assist.
It didn't look too promising at the start for GTL. Prioritizing his own survivability did mean that this S7 could sing a sweet song of death the longer it remained in his hands. And sure, only 3 kills to his name, assist provided that Downpour was able to capitalize on, but with one more shot left, you gotta make it connect. Just go do it. Aw, super duper close, but yeah, gotta sing his praises right off the get-go as well, and he's still able to play his life. Trades it off for the perfect as well. I can't ask much more from Empire from that entire series of events.
Empire has just had one of the best openings I think I've seen on Origin from anyone. He has played that phenomenally well, managing to pick up 5 kills and 2 assists for his team, establishing a 6-kill lead for them off the rip. Now, this isn't too big of a problem for Nihilistic Blues. 6 kills at this stage of the game isn't something to start fretting about, but if this game goes close, those 5 kills that he got off the rip could really make the difference.
Yeah, could definitely leave a mark. A blue bruise that Nihilistic Blues could recover from, obviously. It's only a gap of 4, and as you said, it's maybe still a little bit too early to tell. And given the fragging prowess we saw in map number 1 from Nihilistic Blues. They were really at it, but it just boils down to power weapon control, and losing out on the Spanker, losing out on that S7, you cannot afford to have those kinds of slip-ups happen once again. I do like this from OK Let's Go, as these 3 players starting to move around as a pack, but unfortunately, they're wandering right into the open and awaiting arms of Nihilistic Blues, who do manage to claw it back just a little bit more.
Yeah, I love what we saw from Nihilistic Blues there. They knew that they had to control that snipe side of the map if they wanted to be comfortable at getting the rockets. But unfortunately, Dreams, even though he gets the rockets, gets taken down. Those rockets down on the orange elbow. It looks like Downpour's probably picked them up. And with Sniper coming up, those rockets could be enough to confirm it for them if the players on Nihilistic Blues don't get there first.
Major Lee trying to pepper them down a little bit more with this bandit. S7 still remains online, but this is a decent trap that Nihilistic Blues have actually set up, hoping that OK Let's Go get a little bit too selfish, making moves towards that S7, and they do kind of just go down one by one. Downpour the next to fall. Empire trying to reoccupy this lost territory, but I think the fight for the S7 goes in the way of Nihilistic Blues, and that's really what they need as we transition into the mid-game.
Yeah, it looks like that player up on S3 did have the sniper rifle. But these fights are still happening over on this side of the map. These players trying to push off the air out of that S2 position. But he's actually going to manage to trade out in that situation, handing off that sniper to another player on his team. But the push from OK Let's Go is coming in. They're collapsing from all directions. Melon manages to find a headshot with the sniper rifle, isn't going to be able to find another. No. It's still a 5-kill lead for OK Let's Go, and that's the lead that we saw establish itself at the beginning.
Nice little wraparound coming from Offia as well to shut down Empire, so they can start to regain a little bit of that lost territory. Downpour being forced further and further back, but he does manage to claw his way back into it by 1, find a second as well onto Brian Noob, and that is such valuable individual impact. OK Let's Go reaping the rewards off of one man's labor. 6 kills the gap that separates these two. Square Melon does find one off screen. Empire in a bit of a precarious position, and he will be punished for his crimes as well as the dust settles, if only for a brief moment. Downpour does trade things back off by 1, and OK Let's Go still firmly remain in control, but not by a whole lot. Spanker's going to be online in just about 3 seconds, so our attention's got to turn towards that as well.
Yeah, we see Downpour here getting taken down now. Only a 3-kill lead for OK Let's Go in this situation. That Spanker is singing over on the other side of the map. Not sure who it is who's got it, but the kills are going in favor of Nihilistic Blues, at least until Major Lee comes back. But now only a 2-kill lead as we cross the 40-kill mark. Not very many, but at this stage of the game, that tiny lead could be the difference maker. But Empire, caught out in the open, gets taken down. It's a tied game as we are both at 42 kills.
Mate, I don't know, my brain's not computing. I can't really call this, and it's only going to get more scrappy and scuffled between these two squads. 44 apiece. Major Lee narrowly managing to get away with that. Nihilistic Blues, they do find the advantage of 1, but it might be short-lived. Othia trying to apply some additional pressure, and he does lock horns with, I think that was Empire. They do trade each other out, but just like that, 3 more kills found in total by Nihilistic Blues. They do secure that S7, and I think with all of these toys in their possession, it should be over. 1 more kill found, and that will be it. Nihilistic Blues managed to lock in. Cooler heads prevail towards the end. 5 kills the difference, and they walk away with map 2.
Yeah, OK Let's Go had that 5-kill lead for almost the whole game. They held on to it for so long, right out of the rip. They established it, and they held on to it all the way up until about the 40-kill mark, and then suddenly it just all started falling apart. First this lead shrank, then it disappeared, and then a beautiful collapse from Nihilistic Blues onto OK Let's Go in their own base.
Yeah.
And suddenly it was just all them though. It felt like, you know, once again, like we saw in the previous game, it felt like Nihilistic Blues just had that ice to manage to scrap that out.
Ice in the veins, and the S7 to boot as well, despite the fact that it didn't pop up in the kill feed. towards the very end, but it did certainly have its moments at the start. We were singing Empire's praises earlier on. It was a life that netted 5 kills overall. Sure, there were a couple of missed shots in between, but the impact of this kickoff cannot be understated at all.
Yeah, we saw there, it was originally an 8-kill lead, but it simmered down to about 5 rather quickly. And then, like I say, from that point onwards, it really did look like it was just trades all the way to the end, it looked like, and it felt like OK Let's Go should have been able to just keep on trading. Yeah. But unfortunately for them, Nihilistic Blues managed to find that really nice collapse, trading I think 4 for 1, sorry. And from that point onwards, they had the ability to set themselves up on the map to exert their will, and OK Let's Go just weren't in a position to stop them.
No, it's unfortunate for OK Let's Go that they couldn't maintain that lead, and it was a pretty substantial one at that. 8, 9 kills, depending on what period of the map we were taking a look at, exactly what point in time specifically. But for now, OK Let's Go, their backs metaphorically against the wall as we move into King of the Hill on Lattice. The Nihilistic Blues looking to try to close this one up in 3. And if they manage to do so, that doesn't take away from the fact that it has been a damn close series thus far. Personally, I have my fingers crossed because I really want to see Empyrean CTF. It's been what feels like many, many moons since I've casted that map, since we've seen Empyrean, period. But we first have to get through Lattice. Specifically, OK Let's Go, they've got to get the job done here.
Yeah, Lattice has been in the game for a long time now, but it still kind of feels like a bit of a wild card to me. I think maybe that's just because it's not a great map for me. I don't feel super comfortable on it. Maybe I'm kind of projecting that onto teams, but it does feel like it's always a bit scrappy on Lattice, at least in my experience. But we might see that change here. It feels like OK Let's Go kind of thrives in that scrappiness, but Nihilistic Blues maybe not quite so much. They tend to enjoy the aggression. Starting out with this red side of the map, in my experience, red is a nice one to have for these for the opening onto Lattice, and it looks like that sniper has been scooped up by someone. Not sure who's gotten it, but it is going to be Nihilistic Blues putting feet in the hill first.
Yeah, down 4. Oh, well, he has spotted out the S7, and he's going to go for a chase down to Square Melon, who gets the turn on instead. No, sirree, you do not get any hands on this S7. This guy, he's absolutely ruthless with the S7, and Othia's gonna pick up the pieces instead. Does find a nice little tag, so the S7 continues to deliver in the hands of Nihilistic Blues.
You know, Square Melon, I think any of the old UHL people should be intimately familiar with Square Melon's game, because this guy caused quite a stir when he first showed up, and he continued making one for a long time. He didn't play the game very much, though, recently. In fact, I thought he completely disappeared, but he turns back up and immediately starts doing the same shenanigans he was doing all that time ago. It's great to see him back on Halo and still putting in that work. As the amount of damage that he just did to OK Let's Go can't be overstated. Ever since that double kill has come out, it really hasn't looked like OK Let's Go has had a chance at this hill. They've barely touched it.
Now that we've gotten our dose of nostalgia, hitting the right dopamine receptors, we can get back into it where Nihilistic Blues, they've just been able to lock in their first their first hill in this map thus far. Hill number 2 going to be online momentarily as well, and Othia no longer has any S7 rounds to speak of, but that's completely fine, because they continue to shut down OK Let's Go at every single twist and turn. Just look at the kill count as well. 18 scored by Nihilistic Blues versus the measly 7 kills that OK Let's Go have done up until now. This is, through and through, utter dominance from Nihilistic Blues.
Yeah, when they were on 7 kills, Melon had as many kills as the whole team combined.
Basically.
OK Let's Go have managed to put a couple more on the board now, but it's still very much a dominant position for Nihilistic Blues, especially as EV will find himself as the last one alive. Over towards his cargo side, probably going to try and push across ice, but going to want to avoid any unfriendly guns that might be waiting for him. Putting down a decent amount of damage, but getting taken down in kind. You really want to try and avoid that sort of cross-map fight when you're trying to push into an enemy position. But this setup for Nihilistic Blues has just been so oppressive that they haven't been able to do so.
Gunfight's not going in the favor of OK Let's Go, and traversing the map alone, proving to be a bit of a tricky endeavor for them to get safely accomplished. Nihilistic Blues, as we stated, firmly in control. Empire now forced back into that respawn screen as well. EV's just coming off it. And with these spawns happening so far away, they can barely get close enough to plant 2 feet on any of these hills. It's a little bit demoralizing to see what happens. So, okay, let's go in between the maps, but a bit of a welcome surprise actually coming in from Downpour, being able to halt progression at what seems like the 11th hour and keeping this hill number 2 alive a little bit longer for Okay, Let's Go.
Yeah, it feels like maybe Nihilistic Blues got a little too aggressive on the map, maybe left the hill alone just a tiny bit, and now kills going in favor of Okay, Let's Go. 3 dead for Nihilistic Blues, and all of a sudden, I'm not sure if they're going to have time to get into this hill. They have to shoot this player out of it very quickly, but Brian Noob's the only one in position. Dreams goes down straight away. Melon's not going to be able to do it, and it is going to be Downpour with the hero play managing to tie up this game and get their first hill on the board.
Still early days, but goddamn, what a play coming out from the boys in blue. They did manage to get the sniper rifle as well. Carbine to boot, as well as Downpour's looking to lay down the line, but unfortunately does go down at the hands of a well-placed frag grenade. Major Lee gonna move into this hill himself, and if Okay, Let's Go are capable of putting out those kinds of performances yet again, where despite all expectations, they are able to work a little bit of a miracle into it, then I think this map number 3 has the potential to go in their favor, but it's too tough to call. It's too volatile as well, the style of Halo that we're seeing from them, where suddenly they're asleep at the wheel and then suddenly they just kind of raise up like Undertaker back into the swing of things. I mean, it's wonderful when you see it happen, but that's not the consistency that we want to see out of them.
Yeah, I like the space we're seeing getting made on the map by Brian Noob using that QT. You can play so aggressively when you have it because you can just QT back whenever you're in a bad situation, or you can use it aggressively to catch that player out. But Brian Noob's actually going to find himself all alone, gets taken down by Major Lee. That was a double kill for him. Can he make it a triple kill against Dreams? Isn't going to be able to do so. And with Square Melon picking up that kill as well, it is probably going to be the hill in favor of Nihilistic Blues. But Okay, Let's Go, giving them a fight on that one.
History doesn't repeat itself this time. Okay, Let's Go, not quite able to stem the bleeding on that 3rd hill. But this one up here on the bridge, this one's probably the trickiest of the bunch. 3 players down for Okay, Let's Go, so Nihilistic Blues are going to happily take up all of this progress. And if I'm Nihilistic Blues, I think to be real, I'm going to start thinking about utilizing that clock as like a phantom 5th player in my favor as well.
Yeah, especially on this hill. It's top mid, it's so exposed. If you're getting pressured in this hill, the best thing to do, especially when you're in the lead, obviously, is to just leave and come back when you've got an opportunity to. You know, there's no reason to be fighting that player across the map when you don't have to. And you do see that that player does try and leave the hill, but gets taken down by a player from behind. And now we're going to have to see if Okay, Let's Go can repeat their previous success. But no, they're not going to be able to. Square Melon, but managing to find 2 assists during that fight. Now with Sniper up and the hill, if Nihilistic Blues are able to get there first, then it's going to be a dominant position for them to be in. But actually, it's Okay, Let's Go with the good spawns. But unfortunately for them, it's not going to matter. Nihilistic Blues gets 3 down.
Yeah, red like the book. Nihilistic Blues able to maintain control. And at this certain point, you may as well just try to capitalize on this hill with that much progress already established. Major Lee trying to lay down some suppressing fire, but it's a little bit tricky. He's got to try to inject a little bit more motion into this, start to get really aggressive right up in their face. Does isolate the S7, shuts down that, but he will be traded off. The response, it's right on the money coming in from Nihilistic Blues, and they do manage to stop any form of catastrophes from hitting them across the face.
Major Lee has kind of been a bit of a lifeline for his team in this game. His stats aren't crazy different from the rest of them, but it really has been him, especially on this hill, who's been finding those kills to keep his team in it, to stop this from just turning into an absolute roll. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. 2 players go down for Okay, Let's Go. Melon does fall down again, and it's Major Lee once again, but Dreams puts a stop to his dreams of stopping that hill getting captured. And now it's 3-1 in favor of Nihilistic Blues. And minute 25 is plenty of time to make a comeback here, but not when you're going down 2 already.
Yeah, exactly. You got a gap of 2 hills to make up. Definitely doable, but with 70 seconds left to play with. You've got to make sure that you are basically on those hills 24/7, and it's just tough when you're not even being given the light of day by Nihilistic Blues to move across and move out of spawn. QT has been picked up, so Dreams can definitely use this to his advantage and just zip-zap zoom all the way around. EV Sisu does manage to get the drop onto Othi, yeah, and the second player, the S7, is what he needs to shut down, but unfortunately doesn't quite get away with that one. As we hop on with Downpour, he does find himself a nice little BR, and a player, a victim to pounce upon, a perfect secured onto Square Melon as well. These are the kind of gunfights that we want to see and we need to see from OK Let's Go, but time really starting to become a critical factor here.
Yeah, as we see, Downpour just getting taken down by the superior teamwork of the other team. However, as far as the fight on the whole is going, it is looking like a win here for OK Let's Go. They are the ones in the hill, and the rest of the fight seems to be a draw. Major Lee finding another kill. He's on 17 now. Just managing to put down so much damage onto the other team. Brian Noob going down first. Should be an opportunity here for OK Let's Go. They've got 20 seconds on the game clock, but they don't really want to let that tick down if they can avoid it, as more kills coming in for OK Let's Go. 3 dead now for Nihilistic Blues. This should be the hill for OK Let's Go, but they're gonna have to capture another one if they want to tie up this game.
Also, gotta say, balls of steel on Major Lee. He's taking gunfights he has no business being a part of as well. With shields completely stripped, he's still able to find assist. A lot of impactful damage, but I think his days are surely numbered. Does get taken down by Square Melon, who's looking to reintroduce a little bit of normalcy into this one for Nihilistic Blues. Missed movement, but that's completely okay. But into the open arms of Empire he goes with the S7 and pummeled down into a pulp. Downpour falls himself, trade to come on through from Major League, but instead denied as a matter of fact. And with 10 seconds left, the clock is going to start flashing red. Okay, let's go. They're losing players left, right, and center, and without getting feet planted on the hill, it may as well be curtains. Nihilistic Blues, they take the third map and the series as a whole to complete their Swiss stage at the EHL Spring Open.
Yeah, the series score is going to say 3-0, but that was a much closer series than that would suggest. The Slayer was close, the King of the Hill was close, and the Oddball was incredibly close. Yeah. Probably closer than it should have been, to be honest. I think Nihilistic Blues did look like the stronger team overall.
Yeah.
But OK Let's Go, we're right there with them for a lot of that.
Yeah, for a lot of that. It is a bit of a shame that in this last map, not everyone was up to snuff. You can see there as well. I really feel for EV Sisu. 8-20, not exactly the scoreline that you want to be bringing into this one. And I do feel for them because they really had the potential, and you could tell that Major Lee was playing his heart out as well to try to, you know, re-establish some level of control and, you know, rally up all of the rest of the lads saying, hey, you know what, it's fine, we got this. He was delivering a lot of individual impact and really catching Nihilistic Blues more often than not with their pants around their ankles in some of these gunfights, and unfortunately just wasn't quite enough for them to force out a CTF on Empyrean. And still, for me, that opening map of Oddball, that one is going to be the highlight map in this entire narrative, with 17 points separating those two squads. But Square Melon as well, as we touched on a little bit earlier, man still got it with that S7. Insane stuff.
I mean, that's the kind of shenanigans. I guess that's the thing that gets people complaining about M&K on Twitter or on Discord. I see you, Outcasted. You know, you're probably already drafting another M&K is cheating DM, but Square Melon, as an M&K player myself, let me tell you, hitting shots like that is not easy. He's got something special there. And all of Nihilistic Blues just played so well throughout basically this whole series. I think the Oddball was very scrappy, but we saw a lot of very clean and very precise gameplay from them, especially in the later part of that Slayer and in the early part of this map.
Yeah, it was overall a wonderful series. Gotta give credit where it's due. Okay, let's go. As you mentioned, they were right there with Nihilistic Blues through and through, breathing down their necks time and time again. This was also a great shot coming out from Empire as well. It's a bit of a shame that he couldn't string a couple more with that S7. Give Okay, let's go a bit of a lifeline towards the tail end. But yeah, that basically solidifies it for this evening. commiserations to OK Let's Go. Congratulations to Nihilistic Blues as they do secure a spot in next Sunday's playoff bracket. And I'm really excited for when that rolls around on the 26th.
Yeah, me too. I'll unfortunately, I don't think I'll be on the cast for that one, but I will be watching it from home. And good luck to all the players who make it in there. That's all from us. So we'll see you next week.